Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching me. I love you guys. If you like my channel, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. All right, let's get started with the topic of the day. I got hired straight out of college, and I'm gonna tell you a story about how I did it, what was my process, and where I'm working now, and how you can do the exact same thing. I did my undergraduate at UC Santa Barbara. I studied economics and accounting, and let me tell you guys, my finishing GPA from UCSB was 2.9. Round of applause. That is not the best GPA ever, and of course, like, it could be better. It could be like 3.5, 3.8, but it wasn't. It was like barely 3.0. Like, I am right on the cusp of a B minus. It's not bad. It's not good. It's not bad. It's okay. It's whatever. Which is just me sharing with you guys that you don't need a good, extremely good GPA to get a job. So at UCSB, once upon a time, when there was in-person school, we used to have career fairs. We used to have them at least 4 times a quarter. And because I was part of the accounting department as well, we also had accounting career fairs. And if any of you students, colleagues, whoever has ever been to a career fair, you will know that you pretty much have about 2 minutes to impress the rep. Like, they were there, they talked to about like hundreds of students a day, and most of the time it's kind of I would say a waste of everybody's time. At least though I thought career fairs are just a waste of everybody's time, and I'm like, why am I talking to these companies? And I decided to do something smart. Instead of going to all the companies that are specifically for business students, like where it screams finance or banking or accounting, I decided, like, you know what, why don't I shoot my shot at companies that are government funded, for instance, like aerospace or Boeing or Northrop Grumman or Raytheon, or companies that still have jobs, that are still a specific niche industry, and they're also hiring, and that have, I would say, a little bit less competition as much as regular jobs like investment banking or accounting or being a CPA, like something different, something entirely different, something that nobody thinks about. And most of the time at UCSB in the career fairs, what they do is that they they take a big hall and they pretty much split it up. They split it up between STEM on the left or the right, and then you have like social science, businesses on the other side. So, like, for instance, if students want to go into marketing, they'll hang out in like one spot, and if they want to do like social science jobs, like I just explained, they will stay on one side, and then all the STEMs and engineers will go on the other side. But the trick is, even STEM companies need finance. You guys, this is like the biggest loophole in the entire hiring industry, is that a lot of young students like don't consider that even Boeing and Northrop Grumman and all these big companies, they still need finance people. And a background about me is that at that time I actually had one internship at Raytheon, where I was working in finance at El Segundo, and I was doing corporate finance for a program, and I was pretty much the only finance intern that summer. Nobody else was an intern, and it was pretty rough. Like, I worked a lot. I learned that Raytheon is not my company, and it wasn't my company because of its culture. It was specifically not my company because they were not teaching me what I'm doing. Nobody was investing their time into explaining me what is Masha doing. My boss was a little bit too busy for me. Like, I was just given to him, and they were just expecting me to do magic, and I am like, well, I'm an intern. Like, I can do magic, but I need to understand why I'm doing magic. Like, what exactly am I doing? Why am I doing this? What does this mean? What is a spreadsheet? What are these numbers? What are actuals? What is all of this? So beyond my summer at Raytheon, I decided to do something smart. Something really smart that I just like, oh, I need to earn value certificate. What is earned value? So for a financial analyst, earned value is basically a metric that you use to measure the success of how a program is doing when they're building something, whether on track, on schedule, behind schedule, how are they spending their money. It's just a metric for measuring the success of the program over time. And I decided to take a certificate on it, and that's probably the most smartest thing that I did at Raytheon. Is like, I took the certificate, I passed it, I got it, and then I put in my resume that I have earned value certificate. And the reason why I did it is like, my mom told me, is like, hey, you should consider getting it. Like, if you're already at Raytheon, then they will pay for it, and it's part of your training, then you might as well get it, and it will stay with you forever. So this was the one thing that I had was pretty much an advantage over most students. And this specific experience, having earned value certificate in my undergrad, allowed me to stand out from other students because it was what my company was looking for. I decided to apply to Millennium Space Systems, which is a smaller startup company that was recently acquired by Boeing, and they do small satellite production. And the role that I was interested in was finance. Like, I want to work with money, I want to work with budgeting, this is what I want to do. And I impressed them. Like, I saw a guy who was, it turned out to be a part of my team, and I was like, hey, are you finance? And he was like, yeah, I'm finance. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he took a look at my resume. He's like, oh, you have earned value. Ooh, what's the, really? How did you get that? And I told him about me, and I told him that I know exactly where Millennium Space Systems is. If you don't know where Millennium Space Systems is, it is located in Los Angeles, in El Segundo. It's a pretty small company. It has about, let's say, 300 people. It's a startup vibe, so majority of the people who work there are young, majority of the people that work there are engineers, but even engineers need finance people to help them survive and make sure that they stay on schedule. And the guy was so impressed that, one, I had earned value training, two, I knew exactly what they were doing, where they were located, and three, that I was pretty much grilling him on the spot. It's like, when you started, were you on fire pretty much, that there was so much to do and like you were going insane and nobody was investing time in you, or were people actually investing in you? And that was, as a young person, that is what is important to me, that if I'm going to work at a company, that people invest in me, that I'm learning what I'm doing, that I understand this, like I understand the big picture, I understand how everything is connected, and that I'm not just a monkey, because I don't want to be a monkey. So Lord and behold, he was so impressed with me that he told me, like, this is the job, please apply. He even emailed me again that day, and he was like, please apply, here's a link to the job. And I applied. I applied to the job. That was Winter Career Fair 2019, right before 2020 and the pandemic. And a week later, pretty much HR called me and was like, hey, we would like to set up a phone call with you for the first round of interview. Are you interested? And I'm like, yeah, of course, let's do it. But the ironic timing is that when I was going through my interview process, I was also coming close to finals. So it was pretty much the last 3 weeks before finals was when I was going through my interview. So the first phone call is basically just a phone screening. There was my boss there now and my other boss. So they both interviewed me, and apparently they liked me enough where they decided to proceed with the second panel interview. And when I came in for the panel interview, I killed it. Like, you guys, my shining, radiating personality, my confidence is like out there. It's like, I had a pretty good resume. Like, I could talk enough about earned value. I wasn't talking about it in like extreme detail, but they were really picking up that I had the work culture that they were looking for. It's like, I wanted to work with people. I wanted to learn. I wanted to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, that I wanted to be a part of something, and that I didn't want to be a monkey. Like, they got it and they liked it. And that's, at least that's what I think. That's why I was hired, for my radiating, shining personality. So they decided to proceed with the third final interview. The third final interview was with the director of finance of programs, which means is like this guy was basically in charge of all the programs that Millennium Space is doing, and he does he kind of controls the finance. And we walked in to that interview, and it was just him and my boss. And my boss, who was hiring me, she told me, it's like she's not allowed to ask any questions because she's already interviewed me and she already made up her mind about me. So it was pretty much me and this dude going back and forth, and he was asking me very at the beginning very vague questions just to see how I think. And then he asked me something from my resume, and let me tell you, my resume has went through so many drafts of edits and rounds of edits between my mom and me and my mom's friends, like everything to make my resume look good, which was all true. That was this phrase called ITAR. ITAR is International Trade Arm Regulations. There you go, International Arm, whatever. Something extremely complicated, something that Raytheon does, and it was on my resume. And this dude, he asked me, what is that? And I had no idea. Let me tell you, I had no idea. So I started very confidently talking about something else completely. I was so confident about what it was saying, and he was like, I like your confidence, but before you get too far, let me tell you what it is. And then he told me, it's like, does it sound correct to you? And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I felt so stupid. I was like, oh my God. At the end of that interview, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna get it. Like, I just like bucked up so bad. Like, I didn't know what it was. Oh my God, I was kind of panicking, and I walked out of that building, and my boss gave me a tour. It was like right before the pandemic, and showed me around everything. And at the end, I was like, oh, I really want to work at this place. And she said, that's great. And that was my final interview right before finals. And I went back to UC Santa Barbara. And 2 weeks later, I got hired. Oh my God, I got hired. They actually hired me. That is insane. That's mind-blowing to me. And I still can't believe it happened. They sent me an offer letter. I agreed to it probably in a day. I was so happy. My mom was ecstatic. Everybody was happy. My grandparents were happy. Everybody was happy. It's like I got hired 6 months before I even started the job. And then the pandemic hit. Radio silence. So not only did I have to move back home from UC Santa Barbara back to Los Angeles, that I also had to like pretty much do my schooling online. My last quarter was online, and I wasn't hearing anything from my company at all. For 6 months, nobody was telling me anything. Like, I called HR, nobody was picking up, and I was freaking out. And then, Lord and behold, summer came, and then my big Europe trip that I planned got canceled because of the pandemic. I was gonna do 3 weeks in Europe, and it got canceled. And I was supposed to start work July 27th. And at the beginning of July, HR reached out to me. It's like, hey, do you want to start earlier? And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I do. Why not? I'm already sitting at home. I already have nothing to do. I might as well go to work. And that's how I did. Like, I started working July 6th, and I was so happy. Like, I got my 401k set up. I got everything set up. I got health insurance. I was happy. I was ecstatic. And the best part about it is that company that I applied for, my first company that I got straight out of school, was exactly the company that I want to work in. Like, I cannot move right now, so I'm a new hire, so like I don't foresee myself leaving this company because of how attached I am to my peer team, how attached I am to the work culture that is around me, and how much I love the fact that they're teaching me, that they're training me, that I love what I do, that everybody's full of energy, that my boss is actually understanding that we're one big team. That is so important to me, and I'm not leaving it And I'm so excited, like I'm thrilled and I'm overjoyed and I'm just so happy. So this is my story. So my advice to the rest of you who are young, who are still in school, is to shoot your shot. Shoot your shot, think outside of the box, go to the industry that still need jobs that nobody's thinking about. Check out aerospace, check out the space industry, check out defense. Everybody needs a financial analyst, everybody needs a job, and everyone is hiring from that specific industry. Now, I don't know about investment banking, so if you want to work in investment banking, you should. Shoot your shot at everything, shoot your shot at all the companies around you, like don't give up, and you'll eventually find and land something like me straight out of school, and you will be set up and you can get hired before you even finish. Alright, thank you. If you liked my lovely 15-minute rant, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Love you guys. Bye.